When a shooter killed 5 people at Club Q in Colorado Springs more than a week ago, some employees lost their colleagues and their livelihood.
Well, rent is now due in a few days. And 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry shows us how one Club Q employee is hoping that others will help to support them.
Many know what to find outside of Club Q. Love pours out and grief strains emotions. But it's what some don't know that can add to the pressure.
Been a very stressful, overwhelming week.
Tiara Kelly is a performer and producer at Club Q. Her most recent show was the night before the shooting.
I live with this sense of guilt, like, why did he choose that night and not my night? Why was I not there? Why, so many whys and so many, there's all kinds of guilt that comes along with it,
Guilt comes from knowing she's alive but needs more to live. Kelly says she's one of more than a handful of performers that lost part, if not all, of their income while Club Q remains closed.
Right now, this should be a time for us to be able to grieve and mourn and heal and not have to worry about how we're going to pay our rent or whether we're going to be evicted or not.
On social media, Kelly and others are circulating direct ways people can contribute to the folks that regularly performed at Club Q. While she knows big organizations will be distributing funds, she says that takes time.
There are organizations, there are victims advocacy, there are all of those things that are trying to help and going to help eventually, but the reality is the bills for December are due. The goal is to get money in the pockets of the staff and the cast now, today.
Lost is how many are feeling right now, but the last thing this group wants to be is alone.
The last thing that I want to do is see my family continue to hurt and continue to be in need.
Kelly is coordinating a benefit this Thursday in Colorado Springs to support the Club Q family impacted by the shooting. She says she plans to work directly with the Club Q owners to get the proceeds distributed. Kim and Tom.
It continues to resonate in so many ways. It's good that you keep us abreast of this, though, so that we can, continue to follow all these lives and hopefully help them as they all heal.
Exactly. I think it's something a lot of people don't think about, really, is the fact that a lot of people survive this, but life also continues on for some people, and rent is due, bills are due, Christmas is around the corner, and so certain aspects of their life keep going.
Yeah, and it's going to be closed for a long time. All right, thank you, Jaleesa. Within the last 10 minutes, we have also learned that police arrested the mother of the Club Q suspect, Anderson Aldrich, last weekend, the day after the shooting. Now, according to court documents, Laura Vopel faces charges of resisting arrest and disorderly conduct. We don't know what led up to her arrest, but this happened the same day police were at their house. She is scheduled to be in court January 25th.
There are new documents now in the death of Christian Glass, and they say law enforcement was in no immediate danger when a deputy shot and killed Glass this summer.
2 deputies are now facing charges, and the indictments explain why. Deputies responded to a call in June when Glass got his car stuck off I-70 in Silver Plume. Glass was having a mental health crisis and called for help. The indictment for Deputy Andrew Bune says Bune at the times was conversational towards Glass and other times aggressive. At one point during the encounter, he stepped away to call his shift supervisor, Sergeant Kyle Gold. And the indictment says Bune muted his body camera audio and did not record the conversation. After the phone call, Bune said a decision had been made to get Glass out of the vehicle, even though there was no probable cause that point. Deputies broke windows, shot Glass with bean bags, tased him, and Bune shot Glass several times. Glass at one point grabbed a small geology knife and swung, but the indictment says Glass never made any threats against law enforcement. It says responders were never in imminent danger. Bune is now facing charges for murder. Gold is facing charges for criminally negligent homicide.
2 schools and a neighborhood in Pueblo County had to be evacuated today due to this wildfire, estimated to be 128 acres in size, burning on Old San Isabel Road in Rye, that's south of Pueblo. Rye Elementary School and the high school were evacuated. Students were taken to Craver Middle School in Colorado City. At last check, Pueblo County Sheriff's Office said the fire was 45% contained. Let's take a live look outside right now. Sunshine, mild temperatures. It's all moving out. Now we're tracking snow. that might be arriving just in time to make a mess of tomorrow morning's commute. So Kathy, enjoy the moment.
This is my favorite time of the day where I get to think of fun phrases like the Arctic cold is about to take hold.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you like that one?
Yeah, Canadian clipper, no, Alberta
Nope.
clipper.
oh, is that?
No.
Canadian cold front.
No.
I don't know if
From
they're
the
correct.
Arctic,
They're just,
it's further north.
I know I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying it's stuff I've heard
Deep freeze?
years ago.
Oh, okay.
What's the polar vortex was the good one.
Oh,
That was good.
Do not say that because
don't
we
even go
want
there. We
another
can't
one of
even.
those. No
Strike
chance.
that from the record.
Unfortunately for us, this system, while fast moving, will do some damage in time for the morning drive tomorrow, which will not be fun. The morning drive tomorrow, just be warned, is going to be snowy and icy and slow. I don't think you're going to get a snow day necessarily, but you might get a delayed start, so thank you. I'll be here all day. Okay, let's talk about what's happening outside. We went from mostly sunny and just about 60 degrees to mostly cloudy and windy. The snow's already beginning in the high country. Be prepared for winter driving conditions on I-70 tonight. As I mentioned, it's a fast-moving system coming in from the northwest. It's going to combine forces with an Arctic cold front, which will reinforce the upslope flow and bring us some good snow banding overnight tonight. And this is a system that could drop a quick 2 to 4 inches of snow between midnight and 7 a.m. Enjoy while we got it. We got 53 in Denver, 62 in Lamar, 60 in Trinidad. Oh, it's nice, right? Tomorrow, that number will be cut in half. If we even get to the mid-30 mark tomorrow, it could be even colder. Winds are starting to increase in areas like Loveland Pass and Berthoud Pass, and that snow is going to be quick to follow. In Denver, a dry evening, no worries. Partly sunny. We're dropping out of the 50s into the 40s for now, but the snow is coming around midnight. We go under a winter weather advisory at 2 a.m. Several inches of snow and cold. It's going to be a tough one tomorrow morning. I'm going to break down the timing, the snow amounts you can expect, and when the sun and warm weather will return. That's all just ahead.
Your maps are ominous, to say the least.
Are they?
what do you
Yeah.
call the sun arrival?
Yeah.
What is that? The Banana Express or the something?
I always like the Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Pineapple
That's
Express.
a fun one, too.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is an Arctic cold front, totally different.
Totally.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Thank
Yeah,
you,
what he
Kathy.
said.
All right. RTD says that full service along the R line will officially start up again tomorrow. There haven't been trains between Aurora Metro Center and the 13th Avenue station after this, the train that derailed in that section back in September. RTD had to fix all the lines and figure out a better way to run trains through that Sable and Exposition area. This follows 2 separate train accidents, derailments in the last couple of years. A recent report found that the light rail operator was doing 39 miles an hour into a curve with a 10-mile-an-hour speed zone when it derailed. Again, full service is set to resume tomorrow, they say, at 4 a.m.
The pilot of a small plane and his passenger are safe today after their aircraft flew into power lines in Maryland. The 2 individuals dangled above ground for hours before rescuers could finally lower them to the ground safely. NBC's Tom Costello is in Maryland with more.
Yeah, good day. An incredibly high-stakes emergency rescue here in the suburbs outside of Washington, D.C. And right now, we're watching these crews that are up in cherry pickers securing this high-voltage utility tower and the power lines themselves. The plane itself is now gone, but the plane slammed into that tower at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. And when that happened, lights throughout this entire county started to flicker and 120,000 people lost power. And then the rescue. And you can imagine the high stakes here because those were highly charged power lines. These individuals, a pilot and his passenger, hanging inside and tangled up in the electrical wires. But the fire department could not effect a rescue because the lines were charged. So they had to bring in heavy equipment in addition to about 100 firefighters. And then they slowly began trying to make sure that the power was shut off and then effected the rescue. They did not get these individuals out of the plane until 12:30 in the morning. They were taken to a nearby hospital suffering from hypothermia and trauma from the actual impact, the plane hitting the electrical tower. This is a single-engine, small plane called a Mooney plane. Not uncommon to see it flying in and out of small community airports. And the question now is, how did this ever happen? The NTSB and the FAA will be clearly looking into that. Thankfully, these 2 individuals are alive and being treated at the local hospital. Back to you.
What a wild story. We followed that last night. Some schools in the area were closed today because of that power outage. Crews were able to get everything connected and working again overnight. Officials say the power was back on before they were able to get the plane down, but they do need to repair the tower. And Tom talked a little bit about that.
The man accused of shooting and killing 10 people at a Buffalo supermarket in May pleaded guilty today. Those charges included first-degree murder, murder as a hate crime, and hate-motivated domestic terrorism. 11 of the 13 people shot were black, and investigators believe that shooting was targeted based on race.
It is important for this community to hear how these precious lives were snatched from us for no other reason than the color of their skin, for no other reason other than this mass murderer wanting to kill as many black people as he possibly could.
The shooter still also has federal hate crime charges as well, but he's previously pleaded not guilty to those.
A Colorado police officer still on the job with multiple felony charges.
At this point, state officials say there's nothing they can do to stop her.